hello to Lady E. Let's say hello to the Soul. Let's say hello to Fillmore Mike and to Ann. And all of you say hi, and we'll get right into the news of the week. All right, who's first? Lady,
What's
you can
up?
go
What's
first.
up, family?
Okay. All right.
I'm throwing my hat into the ring. I'm throwing my name into the race, y'all. The soul for the Democratic nomination, y'all.
Let me do this first. Let me
Thanks
before we
for
get
thanks
in.
for the support in the studio, y'all. I really appreciate that.
Before we do this, let me thank everyone who tuned in. I heard a lot of great comments about last week's show on crime and violence in Oakland. People say, man, you got to do that again. In fact, somebody said, you need to do it every week. Well, no, we can't do it every week, but we will do it again. We revisit that topic. Thank all of you for the calls and thank the programs that appeared, the youth programs that appeared on the show last week. We are really, really, really grateful. Now, this week, man, it's been like, I did the lead story before today was, the end of the Republican convention and JD Vance is the that man, I call him that man. choice for choice for vice president. But then the bombshell came today. So, Lady E and Mike, that Joe Biden is dropping out of the race. He has finally said, I'm through. Now, I don't know if he was nudged out, eased out, pushed out, kicked out. All I know, I'm hoping that it was his decision, him and his family's decision. Say, I can't do it no more. And it looks like, I don't know for sure that the potential president candidate on the Democratic ticket will be none other than I don't want to call her I call her Bay, Arizona, although she's not born in the Bay Area. She was here time. Current Vice President Kamala Harris. Isn't that something?
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. It's amazing. This would be the first presidential candidate that I actually know. Okay, that's cool. I mean, there's been like how many? A million?
I don't know how many presidents you've been through, but
and before me,
yeah,
before I was even here.
there you go.
But I actually know this person.
Right.
So it's going to be amazing. Well, yeah, she was the DA here when I was on the police commission, so we had a lot of interaction. So yeah. We'll see how it goes. Any thoughts? Quick thoughts, Lady E, the Soul. Oh, I'm sorry, the Soul is throwing his hat in the ring also. So
I was about to say, two people who are running now. You know me better than Kamala. She may
That's
have
true.
a better chance of winning, but you didn't scare Kamala with a belt when she was 5 years old. Okay?
Oh no, don't do that.
I'm just saying we got a closer connection.
That's my son.
Used to be whooping. Used to be whooping.
They know.
I thought you was kind of used up. You
They
kept him
know.
alive
You
and
ain't
free
gotta
with
say
the belt.
nothing. They
It was
already
only
know.
once.
You kept
And
him
it
alive
wasn't
and free with
five.
that belt.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Old school. Anyway, aside from my presidential run, my thoughts are, Doc.
Yes, sir. Yes,
This
sir.
morning I was shocked. I guess even though this was coming, but it was a little bit confusing because Biden kept saying no, no, no.
Yes.
Everyone else was like, yes, yes, yes. My first thought was really for him because he, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, he just looks like he needs, like going home and resting would be good for him to do.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in any kind of disrespectful way. It's
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? You sometimes it's like you've done your job, go fishing, hang out, watch reruns. Like that's what it looks like.
Watch reruns. Yes.
Number two, and I say that respectfully.
I understand. Yes, sir. I got
the other thing, and then as the day went on, I thought, my biggest complaint about the ticket on both sides is the age. So
yeah.
Kamala, if Kamala's in, we getting a lot younger, and I like that part already. Now we'll see who she's gonna pick for VP will be the big thing. If it is Kamala, I'm assuming it will be a white male, but
probably a governor.
You would assume, but I hope it's in the 60 and under 50, something. Some youth, or at least not an elder statesman.
Well, it's gonna be and obviously we think it's gonna be her, right? That's a contrast right there. Youth and age, black and white, male and female. You
And
can't
and
get
if
no
it's
more
and,
contrast
and,
than
and
that.
if it's a dance contest between her and Trump, we definitely know who's going to win that.
Oh wow.
Lady E, take it, take the mic.
Oh.
One person has rhythm and the other one not so much.
Well, we'll see. It's a man, and somebody actually texted me, and I can't wait to hear you talk about it. You know, the first half hour. I said, look, down the road after the Democratic convention's over, we'll do a political show. We have to. I mean, you know, we can't get away from it. You know, but not tonight. We may throw some comments out tonight, but we will have. You know, we got our professor of politics hanging in the wings. He'd love to come back, but we will do that, and we'll focus on this. But right now, that's the news. It's really quite unexpected, but expected. Both. Lady E, you want to get something in?
No.
Soul said it all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you know, I will say this. Is, you know, and it's gonna be dirty. It's gonna be nasty. You know, she is a black woman. You know, never been, and I just the mudslinging that was, you know, whenever a woman, then a woman of color ones, all that's gonna be in there. It's not gonna be pretty. But we all know, those of us that know her, she's a tough cookie. She is a tough cookie. So, you know, it ain't gonna be because she is not gonna, you know, she can mix it up. And, you know, she's brilliant, really. She's very, very, very smart. So, and, you know, everybody talks about, but and I said this before, my one statement would be, I've seen Trump's act before. I've seen it already, right? I've seen it, right? And I didn't like it when he was on stage before. I really didn't like the exit. You know, I ain't going, you know, all of that. So, hey, if you want that act again, what can I say, right? You can't say Biden's not there no more. So, you know, if there's going to be a contrast, the contrast is there. We'll see what happens. That is my closing statement. And it'll probably be the only statement I will do. All right. Yes, sir.
Did you see the other big story, big here locally and nationally? The Navy exonerating the 256 black sailors who were unjustly court-martialed, 80 years ago here in Port Chicago? This is East Bay, which Port Chicago I don't think doesn't exist anymore, but near in the Concord area, somewhere out there. Yeah, that was a huge story. 80 years in the making to finally get exonerated. Of course, they're all.
Why does it take 80 years to figure out you made a mistake? Why does it take so long to figure out, acknowledge, accept you made a mistake? It wasn't right. It wasn't okay. Why does it take some people a whole lifetime? What?
Yeah, gotta go.
80 years ago. These people, do you wait until there's only 2 left before you tell the 256? I mean, shady. That is unconscionable to me.
That's America.
It is, and it wouldn't have happened
without
crazy. That's
a push of a lot of people, many people, the families, and of course, the congressman from the area, DeSagne, and George Miller. I think it goes back to George Miller.
Oh, back to George Miller. Oh, wow, George.
Yeah. So anyway, great news for their family. Mrs. Dale, you are right, but we'll take it nonetheless.
Absolutely, we'll take it. But
look at that look. You see that look?
Okay, we're on radio. She can't see.
All right, let's get one bit of levity in here. Can we do just your reaction, Mike?
What's this?
Filmo, to the basketball game yesterday between South Sudan and the USA men's basketball team. Did you see it?
They was going at him.
That's the best game I've seen this year on any level.
It was like the South Sudan. It was like all Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
They was all 6'9", 6'10",
athletic,
long and lanky and athletic, and they didn't care about who was on the court.
That is right. That's
what made it fun, though.
That game was incredible.
That's a classic.
Classic.
That's a classic.
That's a classic. Yeah. Best game I've seen all year. And so if they needed a wake up call, which I don't know if they needed, they were just in a game. But you notice who won the game for the You know what, Mike? Who made the final basket?
The old guy.
That has nothing to
old
do
man,
with
right?
Steph Curry
And
LeBron. Steph is Steph.
I can see that.
Steph is Steph.
But Steph got to get his 3 going, man. He missed 3.
Okay.
Could have clinched it.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Come on,
He'll be all right.
man.
I look forward
Love to LeBron.
They play.
But you take some Golden State Warrior tickets so quick.
Of them. I'll take Lakers. I'll take anybody's tickets now. I ain't turned down tickets.
Oakland Roots, who
I
else?
take them and give them away. I will take some tickets.
What's that? The Ballers, the Oakland Ballers.
I will take some tickets.
San Jose
Okay.
Flash, all them.
Hey, the USA men's basketball team plays Germany tomorrow. All right, Germany tomorrow. Dennis Schroeder. All right, and the Wagner brothers. You can tell I love basketball, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into tonight's show. Tonight we're going to feature. Let me I had my little thing pulled up here. We're going to feature. And by the way, Ann, you do a fabulous job on our what you call these? The flyers that put out for the show. All right. Tonight we're going to learn about the DREAMSF Fellowship in the city of San Francisco and how it is creating leaders for immigrant students and aspiring professionals.
Yes.
They just celebrated 10 years of success, 10 years of success. A wonderful program, absolutely. And we showcase good things because we do a lot of, we're in the emergency room enough. So we try to come up to the top of the hospital and as often as we can. And we have our guests. You're going to learn about this program. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. We're going to do a little talk about immigration and where it is now and what the law is. And I know that's been a big issue in the past election. Probably will come up again this time. We're going to get some insight into that. But what we really want to do is celebrate the 10-year success or dream of DREAMSF. And with us in the studio, as first hour is Richard. Well, y'all introduce yourselves and tell what role you play with DREAMSF, and then we'll begin with the conversation. Hello,
Okay. Sounds good. So I am Rich Whipple. I work for the city and the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs. And one of our biggest, most successful programs that we're celebrating today is our DREAMSF Fellows program. And I'm joined by fantastic colleagues Val and Brian.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Val. I'm the DREAMSF coordinator. I have been in this role for 5 years, 6 cohorts. And most importantly, I was a DREAMSF fellow myself back in 2017. So this program is very dear and close to my heart. And of course, DREAMSF is hosted within SFOC, as Rich just mentioned. And I'll pass it to our all-star fellow, Brian.
Awesome.
Val?
Come on, Brian.
You made the DREAMSF Dean, all dreamer team.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm currently a senior fellow placed at the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs. I'm a senior fellow, soon to be an alumni of the program. And yeah, I'm here, happy to talk to y'all and say hi.
The program has been amazing, and let me just say, our privilege has been being the community sponsor for DREAMSF. It's been, we'll get into more of that and what that means, but it's just been amazing. And you had a fantastic celebration. What, maybe 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Was it? Where was it? Wasn't it City Hall? Where was it?
It was at the Women's Building.
Yeah, and yeah, I've heard you had like 300 people there or something like that, and I couldn't come because I had the Tuesday night. You know what I do on Tuesday night? I'm teaching the young people that are live and free. But David Brown, our accountant, came, and he came back. I'm telling you, raving. I mean, raving, just raving. Just talking about, I met so-and-so, and it was wonderful, it was this, and it was so-and-so. So I said, look, all right. I couldn't be there, but we can continue the celebration right here and make it more public.
There we go.
You know, right
There we
here
go.
on the Live and Free Street Soldiers Radio. So, Richard, why don't you tell me what the program is? Everybody, the first question here, backgrounds and origins of DREAMSF, how it came to be.
Of course. So DREAMSF at its core is a fellowship program for immigrant youth. Youth is a very generous label. I mean, we're really talking about anybody like 18 and above that's like doing any form of higher education. So we're super flexible about that. But it's one part professional development, leadership development, and one part professional experience exposure. And Val has been leading the program for the last 6 years. And let me just say they are amazing and elite. So I can talk a little bit about like why we have this program.
Yeah,
Why
let's talk about why, yes, why, and then we'll get into who they are and where they come from. Why do they have this program in the city?
This is a great question. So, I mean, San Francisco, we know, is a pretty progressive city, has always been a sanctuary city, a welcoming city. So way back in 2012, then President Obama created DACA, which is a program for immigrant youth. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And it was basically a program saying, if folks were educated here, arrived as like young children, but have spent most of their lives here, why shouldn't they have the opportunity, even if they arrived undocumented, to be able to get a work permit and protection from deportation? So when DACA was created, there was a huge group of folks who were eligible for the first time in their lives for work authorization and for the protection from deportation. But a lot of those folks really hadn't had professional opportunities.
Okay.
And initially the city, as it often does, gave resources to nonprofits that are serving immigrants to help them with the legal pieces, right? Like, I got to get this application in. I want to apply for DACA. I want to get a work permit. I want to be able to have this grounding experience. But we realized after a few years of just doing that, funding the nonprofit piece, that there's also this professional development piece and community building piece that's missing for folks. Like, sure, maybe now you have the ability to have a more professional opportunity, but maybe you haven't really had like the mentorship and coaching and opportunity to really connect. The other big piece we realized right away is that like DACA's cute and everything, but a whole bunch of folks didn't qualify for that in the first place and were left out. And even though it was a good thing, it was a partial thing. And there's still many folks who don't qualify, who remain undocumented and don't have access to many opportunities. So this program is this beautiful, like equitable program that's really promoting professional opportunities regardless of who you are or how you migrated.
Regardless. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. I like. Why? Well, this is a program like DREAMSF unique to San Francisco. I mean, are there, if they got one in Miami, do they have one in New York? Do they have one in LA?
I don't know. Let me see.
Yes.
Because
Let's do a quick field
Let's
trip.
do a quick all across. But to our knowledge, there is no Dream SF. There are some a
there's
couple
no
like
Dream Miami. There's no Dream.
There's
St. Louis. There's no.
There's
Okay.
Dream Ohio. No,
Yeah.
there's no. But there is the closest thing that we know is there are a couple internships, but they're only summer, and they're very, very restricted for undocumented folks. Like sometimes they ask, there's age barriers, location barriers, like work permit barriers. So I think DREAMSF is definitely one of its kind, and we have a lot of meetings with other counties to try to replicate it and expand it.
Somebody out there may have a question about the current status of things. I don't know if you can answer, but we'll throw it out there. 877-955-1061. If you got a question on where DACA stands, or Rich can probably give you a little history. It's been controversial. I'm not quite sure why myself.
Right.
Especially for folks that have been here forever, right? Send them back too. Right? I don't get that, but I'm a live and free guy. So, if you got a question, we can answer it. We'll give it a try. 877-955-1061. The question is on maybe the status of, may have a question on the status of immigration today, where it stands, the status of where DACA stands. I don't know if we can answer, we will. If we can't, we won't. Who had said, look, let's do this? Is there anybody that in the, was the one that spearheaded and said, let's go ahead, and this is pretty bold, especially if nobody else is doing it, right? And you're probably gonna get called a bunch of names because you're in California, and you're in San Francisco. But was there any particular person or group of people who said, let's put this together and make it happen?
Yeah, I think the origin really is connected to community organizations and community members directly who were really calling for more opportunities and more resources for folks. Other city agencies do a lot, in community, which is great. So we had conversations with the city's Department of Children, Youth, and Families. They also were thinking about how are we creating opportunities for young folks and opportunities for everyone, not just folks who have the privilege of a work permit. So I think that was kind of one of the main partners that we had out the gate, which was really, really helpful in terms of getting off the ground.
Well, we got a call. Somebody wants to know.
We got a
All right,
call.
we got a call. We'll do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, who is calling? You're on Street Soldiers with Dr. Marshall and DREAMSF.
Hi, how are you, Dr. Marshall
How are you? Thank you.
and Street Soldiers? My name is Rocky, and I'm calling with a question about DACA because it's been enacted 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So how has DACA evolved, and in what ways and what priorities have the DACA legislation that Obama put in place come to fruition all these years forward? But then why has it been limited from so many other sanctuary cities?
We'll do what we can. Rich, you want to go for that one?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's no small question. I think what we can say, it's a good question, and I think we could just take the whole segment just on this question, honestly. But DACA, as you mentioned, was created in 2012. But then after the Obama administration, there was an attempt to eliminate DACA under the Trump administration pretty soon after he took office. Yeah, exactly. And I think there's been a lot of punitive measures across the immigration policy landscape, honestly, since the Trump administration, and also, frankly, in all administrations, if I'm keeping it real. But because the courts, there's been court battles since Trump tried to eliminate DACA, and it's been bouncing back and forth. And what it did was freeze the program for people who were aging into eligibility. But for folks who already had it, they could at least continue to renew their work permit, which is a 2-year cycling work permit. So we're in this weird limbo that for many years, folks have been able to renew, but no new folks are eligible to participate.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And it's worked its way through many court decisions, many appeals. Most recently, an appeals court decision is now kind of the next step. We're waiting for the Supreme Court to weigh in. And let me just say, I'm not optimistic because they've been just
I can understand
issuing
that.
wonderful rulings left and right. So if I'm being honest, I think a lot of folks, a lot of community members. Yes. So, yeah,
Sorry,
so,
I didn't mean to say that.
Exactly. So I think we're a little concerned around what the next year will look like. I think some folks are looking at 2025 as a ruling date that we don't expect to be positive. But your question more specifically, I think, it's still a federal program. And I think there's a lot that different cities, counties, and communities can do to support folks, regardless of whether they have DACA or not, to find opportunities and to find other legalization pathways. And I think that's like part of why we were created in the first place.
That's pretty comprehensive answer.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to add that because there's a misconception that DACA is a pathway to adjusting status, and that's not the case. All it gives you is a work permit, so the ability to work, quote unquote, legally in this country. And in most cases prevents you from deportation. It also is super important because DACA has this concept that is a lot of immigrant youth. And that's not the case. The youngest DACA holder to this day is a 24-year-old. Everyone younger than that did not qualify because of the the issue with DACA getting rescinded. So right now, like when we're talking about immigrant youth who are like 18 to 24, they don't have DACA. They don't have any access to this.
Never had that.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important because of the amount of restrictions. Anyone who came to this country after 2012 did not qualify for DACA either. So a lot of folks, a lot of folks in the immigrant community, particularly if we're talking about like young folks, did not and never qualified for DACA. And I will speak for myself. I also never qualified for DACA because I came when I was 16.
And I think that's what makes our program so amazing is that it really is centering folks regardless. I mean, DACA was kind of the origin point for us to be thinking about this demographic and this community, but it just was a starting point and has thankfully really broadened to be inclusive, as Val mentioned, of folks regardless of whether they even qualified for it.
That's pretty comprehensive. That's
for Sunday night with our brains.
We try.
When I was on and I remember this clearly, when I'm on the police commission, this this whole thing of what they call illegal immigration came up a lot. And I just remember, somebody being snatched up just the thought of somebody being snatched up in the middle of the night, being pulled over, at a traffic stop, and then, ending up in, in Mexico or wherever, or, El Salvador, or all it reminded me of was like slave catchers. That's the first thing I could think of, right? You escape to the north, right? You think you're free,
Yep.
and then here comes the slave catchers, catch you and taking you back to back into slavery. So I never really, it's just horrible to me. I just, because I could relate to that. There were other people who couldn't relate to it, but I certainly could. So I just love the program. I love the program because of the success stories, and the good vibes and the good feelings that the program has created. If you got another question, you can call us again, 877-955-1061, 877-955-1061. We'll do what we can, although you should have been listening, because that was a great answer as to where things stand today. And I like that, in limbo, right? It's been like a football pass back and forth, or what I call ping pong. Just hitting the ball back and forth. And every 2 years they got to renew. In spite of that, what you've done is gone on and create a program to help just about everyone. Where do the young people that come? What countries do they come from?
Yeah, so we have folks from all over, and we're quite proud that at DREAMSF, we make sure that, I think there's like this misconception that undocumented people are just from specific countries or specific languages, and that's not the case. And at DREAMSF, we try really hard to make sure that we make it inclusive for folks from everywhere. So we have, like, each cohort is very different. We had folks from like all of like Central America and South America, but we've also had folks from like Nepal and India, and we've also
Asia.
Yeah, lots. And then we also have folks from like Eritrea and like all over, right? So like I think that we try our best to make sure that this program is open to folks everywhere, and with coming from any path as well.
Oh Lord. Okay, you just celebrated 10 years. We got a lot of stories. Going to meet some of the young people that come through the program. What do you do with them when they're here? Heather, you come in, I want to get in. I've heard about DACA. I heard it does great things. Okay, how do I sign up? What do they do? How do they get in? And what services do you provide?
Yeah. So we're an all-encompassing program, and I'll start, but I think that it'll be better to hear from someone that just more recently went through this program. But first, I think so. There is an extensive selection process. We have over like 200 people apply.
Wow.
Yeah, and only about 20 people can make it each cohort. It's really competitive, and there's a lot of need. So we try our best to make sure that we're all encompassing our selection process, where we're looking for folks who have a lot of areas of growth and they have a passion to help the community. So that's kind of what we're like looking for. And then once they come in, they get placed at they go through a matching process where they get placed at an organization here in SF, where they're able to help immigrant communities. And that can look like legal work, financial services, social services. It's all over. And I think for many people, this is the first opportunity their first professional experience for them to actually be able to see what it's like to work in these settings. As someone myself who I had no professional experience because I didn't have a work permit, DREAMSF opened the door for me to learn so much about the professional field. So we provide that. And then we also provide weekly seminars where we give them the tools for them to learn all different types of things from financial literacy to the life and free trainings to a multiple array of things. Our fellows get the tools that they need during every Friday seminar to then be able to perform well at their sites and beyond. But I'll pass it to Brian because I think that he also has a better idea of how it runs for him.
No, yeah, definitely. I think the program is super wholesome and consists of a lot of different aspects. For example, when I came in, I was exposed to the professional aspect, community building aspect. I was able to build like a little community and find other people who were also struggling with the same struggles that I was struggling with. And then from there, the mentorship that comes with the program as well is another key point of the program. Just coming in, being ready for the seminars, just what does contracting look like? You know, like, oh, how can I take care of my mental health like during when I have no like professional experience and I'm stressing of like, oh, the job market is really bad and I'm already struggling enough. Like I feel like I'm being left behind from my peers. So I think there's a lot. It's a multi. It just works it just works in different aspects that just contributes to somebody's success and somebody's just feeling normal and just feeling like, hey, like we could all do it, right?
Why would anybody be upset with a program like that? Do you have haters?
They're haters.
You guys, I mean, I'm thinking of it. Do people actually get mad that you're helping people? I mean, do you ever get like one of them crazy emails in the middle of the night? You know, like, why are you doing this? Because you're trying to help folks. I mean, if they claim that they don't have any skills, well, you're trying to, you know, I just don't understand that. But you don't have to say names. And I
know names.
I have a list of names, but I won't know. I actually think we don't get that much opposition to the program because it is so wonderful. And there's which is good. I think the broader like topic and sphere of immigration is super divisive, right? And everyone has an opinion about immigration, but this is a local program helping folks. And I think the work speaks for itself. The program participants speak for themselves. So thankfully, like if people have stuff to say, it's usually around like the larger immigration context and border policy or whatever those types of conversations are. And those are also conversations we'd be happy to have, but maybe on a different segment.
How do you narrow 200 people down to 20? I mean, that must be
a lot of crying.
Lots of tears.
Wow.
Really? I mean, that must take hours and hours and picking out this and that's a, you know.
Let me tell you. Yeah. Don't let me get started with that. But yes, it's a lot. It's a lot. So we do, I think something that I'm really proud of in terms of DREAMSF is that each cohort helps select the following one, which I think is very different. It's very different than any other program. So, for example, for application review, all of our fellows get to review the applications of the people applying and rate them and score them based on a rubric, which I think is so unique, which is other programs, there's just 2 people selecting. But for us, it's really important that directly impacted people who have been through this program are selecting the following cohort. And every year that helps us narrow it down. And when it comes to, and then they go through an interview process, which is about 40 to 50 folks go through the interview process. And that interview panel always has alumni who have been through the program themselves and can also see what we're looking for. It's usually me and Rich plus 2 other alumni. So for example, for this last round of cohorts, of this cohort, Brian was there to help interview folks as well. So I think we talk a lot about, like in DREAMSF, it's all about our legacy and all about sustainability. So we know as people who have been through the program, who we're looking for to be able to succeed for the next round.
How long does a cohort last? How does the program last? I guess a year, 2 years, 6 months?
Yeah, so there's basically 2 tracks that fellows have the option of choosing. One track is a 6-month track. Hey, like I will be available for 6 months and I would like to get a 6-month professional experience, or an 11-month track. Hey, I would like to be here a little bit longer, kind of ask my supervisor perhaps, or get a little bit more in-depth mentorship of like what I want. For me, example, I was like, oh, I still kind of don't really know what I'm looking for. Let me take a 11-month track and see what I could find, what different experiences I'm exposed to. Asking for help was a big one. But yeah, I think another super unique aspect of the program is that the alumni go ahead and they organize like, hey, I think my friends would be interested in this, or hey, we should go out to this school, or we should go to a little coffee shop and put some flyers. Like it's super wholesome. It's super intentional. Because it's the same communities that we're serving, the same communities we're coming from. And I think that's something really beautiful about the program because it reflects the individuals participating in the program.
You got a call? We'll take it. You're on Street Soldiers. We're talking about DREAMSF. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm right here. My name is Simon. I'm one of the fellows that graduated this year, and I had something to say.
Simon. Is he on the list to come on in the second
No,
hour?
this is a surprise from
Well,
Simon.
we'll take a
We
surprise.
love
Simon, we'll take you.
We love Simon.
Go ahead, Simon.
Yeah,
Talk about your
man.
experience. Go right ahead, man. Thank you.
You should take me because I used to be A, and when I was done, I became Z. You know, I progressed.
What was your experience like in
Bruh, I was an egg, and they delivered me to be a person. They
Oh,
shaped me
wow.
to this personality that I
What
have
the-
right now. They made me a better person.
That's also
It's a full family that give birth to you, and then they just raise you out their own baby. That's what you're looking for, right in front of you. That's what you're looking at. Congratulations to have you here, guys. And I have a surprise news as well. I've been promoted at the company that I work for. All the credit goes to those beautiful people in front of you, man. That's the special people you got over there. Yeah, we love them, man. You better shout out well about them. You know, all the words to know. We need more people like those beautiful, selfless people. And wherever we are, we always miss them. And we're so proud of all the work that they do, all the dedication. They should be somewhere else, man. This is something that's not worth them. And yeah, I'm just really glad to be a part of that family. That is a milestone in my life, man.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you so much.
Thank you, Simon. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Simon.
Congratulations, man.
Miss
Thanks
you,
for
Simon.
calling in.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Simon, do you want to tell folks a little bit about yourself? Can we do that? Do we have
Yeah,
time?
yeah, sure. Is he gone? Okay. All right.
Okay,
He's-
well,
he-
You're about to hear from some other folks. So.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you guys created this family, right? We had, look, Alive and Free. One of our things is we're not all related, but we're all family, right? And you create, go ahead, Mike.
Do they stay? Like, is it like a campus? Do they stay with you? Is it like a 24/7 thing, or is it?
Oh, that's a good question. So it's not quite like that. It's basically like a part-time job opportunity in a way. So we recruit folks, we select about 20 each year, and then we place all 20 of those in 20 different nonprofits that are serving immigrants. And then they get either 6 months or 11 months worth of that like real life professional experience. But then once a week, we convene them, and Val convenes them for weekly professional development seminars. So they put together an amazing curriculum. They give them all the resources, the trainings, tools. We get Dr. Marshall in here giving Alive and Free, giving financial literacy. So Val's over here holding the whole program. And then we have to work with like 20 nonprofit host organizations because they're the ones receiving and helping us with the mentorship and like real life professional experience.
You know, I think, go ahead, Mike, you want to say anything?
No.
Yeah. I think, how can I say this? An unintended, wonderful outcome is because all of the fellows come from different places. That's got to be great. I mean, it's got to be great because I remember when I've been in the room with them, I met somebody from India, somebody from China, somebody from, Mexico, somebody from, but to be able to share those experiences with each other. I mean, this is supposed to be the melting pot, right? Well, you got them all right there. That must be great. I mean, y'all must have some hell of wonderful potlucks, boy. Oh, Lord. Yeah, you ain't invited me to none of those. I want to come when you do the food. I mean, but that's got to be great to have people who from literally around the world.
And Simon, who just called when we did our group interview, literally brought food. Brought food from his culture, from the whole room.
Yeah.
You got him in there.
Yeah.
Simon.
You brought food?
Where's
Yeah,
he
that's
from?
the value we need.
Simon is from Eritrea.
Oh, yeah.
Eritrea.
Eritrean food is. I mean, that's got to be great.
It was delicious.
It was amazing.
That's not why we put him in, but
that's why you put him in.
No, but the cross-cultural experience that you have. This. I mean, just in the short time I had, it was great for them sharing. All these places. It's got to be a feel-good place.
It's also really amazing because they all get to connect with each other and become good friends. And we have people like even this last, we just started our new cohort, and one of our folks is from Turkey and he had never tried pupusas. And one of our other fellows is Salvadorian. So then they went during lunch to get pupusas and he was like, that's the best food I've ever had. It's amazing. Thank you for doing that for me. So they get to like really teach each other a lot about not just about their like home countries, but about their cultures and their languages and everything that comes. So I think that similar to what Brian said, for me, it felt like the first place where I didn't have to explain myself.
I like that. Say that again. I like that.
The first place where I didn't have to explain myself and like my experiences because folks all kind of like understood that with each other.
Right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And the safety net it must have created.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's got to be a play. I know one of the things we've always kids come here, they're like it's crazy out there, but being here, that the safety net that you must have you do create for each other has got to be just you can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on that. We have a saying at the club: what works, what don't work, and it don't make sense to keep doing stuff. He didn't say stuff. That don't work. That was the elder with his grammatically incorrect but emphatic self. Let's talk a little bit about the outcomes you've been able to achieve. See, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not naming none of y'all, but I know a lot of programs that don't get no results. Okay. I'm just gonna say that. All right. I ain't gonna say who, but they keep getting. What's this?
Federal funding.
They keep getting paper. All right.
Some attention.
And I've never understood that. If you want results, the outcomes that you've had in those 10 years have just been fabulous. Can you mention some of those? I know you got a little document there.
Absolutely. So part of our 10-year celebration last month was really celebrating what we've done in 10 years. And honestly, it was just a get together of folks who've been through the program. So like you said, it was a couple hundred folks came through just to celebrate. That alone is an outcome that's beautiful. Some of the folks I talked to said, like, I've been through other programs. I don't really stay in touch with them. I don't really care that much. But this program really changed my life.
You heard it.
Supported me in a way. And people came out just to celebrate and really appreciate. So in 10 years, we've launched 10 cohorts. Each one is roughly 20 folks. We just launched our 11th cohort last week. And so that brings our total to 200 migrant young folks, youngish folks that have gone through the program and that have had that stabilizing income for 6 months to a year and have gained that hands-on work experience. We've placed them with over 50 different nonprofits over these 11 years.
Wow.
Some of them are like faith-based, some of them are immigration legal services, some of them are doing outreach and education. So a huge diversity of nonprofits are getting the help of these really skilled, culturally competent fellows, which is amazing. And then we also did this incredible survey of the last 10 years, and we thought, like, we'll be lucky if we can get a few alumni to fill it out. We had over 100 of our 180 people fill it out, which is, I think, incredible.
Yes.
And I think Val can probably share more about like what the survey showed us, but I think we already knew that what it would say, which is that folks left the program just emboldened and really empowered to be more successful in their professional journeys, but also their personal journeys.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You want to add something, Val?
Yeah, I think that there's multiple parts to what we do at DREAMSF beyond the professional level. We help them get all this experience professionally and kickstart their process, right? So this is kind of what Simon was talking about, and what hopefully like our fellows who will be joining soon will be talking about is DREAMSF is your first step to success. Where you go on to next, it's hopefully like will have given you the tools to be able to succeed professionally.
The launching pad.
Yes, a launching pad, definitely. But not only that, but we also help them get able to access other resources like immigration legal help. There's many folks who have never received an actual comprehensive immigration intake until they arrive to DREAMSF. And they are able to discover that after like decades of being here and thinking that they didn't have any pathway, they're actually able to adjust status and they're able to receive those resources through DREAMSF. So that's another one. And I think we have some numbers on that as well. But I feel like the one that is most important to me, particularly as a coordinator, is that there was in the survey, folks said that 95% of the people that answered the survey said that they had a better sense of belonging after the program. They found a sense of belonging in community and in the program.
That's it.
And that for me was the most important part.
That's it.
And this program is not in New York, LA.
No,
only San
don't have any.
Francisco.
No,
Only San Francisco.
Yeah, and I think it's unique in that it's run by the city and county. I mean, there are some similar programs that are run out of like universities or run out of other like nonprofits, but I think we're the only one that operates in this way. I know Santa Clara County has a fellowship for immigrant folks to work in the county for a summer. There's a program out of UCLA called Dream Summer that also is a summer-based program, but that's based out of the UC system. So there's some similar ones, but I think ours is really unique in that it's providing this really long-term set of support in a cohort model.
Well, the city government says, let's do something. That's different than a nonprofit who's like, yeah.
And then we got Alive and Free over here as our, community sponsor, making sure the nuts and bolts go smoothly.
And it was so nice what you said at the gala, the celebration, when you said you appreciated us and how much, and I don't know if you said something like, nobody was going to take a chance on you, but and we love, and I got to say, we do violence prevention training, and we've done financially, we call financially alive and free training. And when they're with us for that, even for the short time that they're there, they're just wonderful students. That's, when you're a teacher, what else can you ask for? You want to be great students. Lady, you may want to jump on here and say that because she's done it with me. But the time we've had with them explaining the concept of, the alive and free prescription, the concept of violence and how to avoid that. And then the concept of, now that we got your alive and free, let's take care of your money. What people call financial literacy, being able to share that with people beyond the young people that come to Alive and Free has been wonderful. Lady E, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, every time we have been able to come and work with your groups, first of all, let me say that to go into a new area with a new group of people to instruct, typically there needs to be a time, a warm up, get ready, and work with them to get them ready to receive the information. Every group we've ever worked with, they are already warmed up and ready to receive the information. And even more remarkably, is they were ready to be transformed by the information that was given in both segments, be it the violence prevention or the financially alive and free. Anything we asked them to do, they were open, ready, willing to participate, engage. And so there was like no question about what they were going to walk away with because they were all in it from the beginning. And that is remarkable and wonderful. And as an instructor, priceless.
Especially once they get so many trainings. I was like, oh, here they come with another one. No, but that's what ladies said they're wonderful. All right, we're at break time. Gotta take a break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna go to YouTube at Stay Alive and Free. We got some of the fellows who are gonna join us. Hear in-depth stories. It's gonna be great. Break time. We'll be back with more Street Soldiers and DREAMSF.
Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul? Trying to find my soul. Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier. Street soldier. Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask. I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say. This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and Free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
No more, that ain't right, man. Hour number two, alive. And Street Soldiers, how we doing with the sound? We doing okay, Ann? We good? No, we're not? Yep, yep, yep. Yes? You think? You don't know? Uh-oh. All right, we gotta make sure the sound is right before we get into it. Lady E, can you say something? We'll know if we can hear you.
Okay, I hear
Oh,
you.
yeah, I got you. All right. I hear her. Hour number two, alive and free. Street Soldiers Radio, a great first hour. We are celebrating 10 years of Dream SF, a unique program that, hold on, let me find my line here. I got to say it. Hold on, Ann. Yeah, a unique program that is creating leaders for immigrant students and aspiring professionals, and Alive and Free has been proud with honors to be a community partner anyway with DREAMSF. Heard a lot in the first hour about what the program is about, and I can't say enough about this. The success, both in numbers for those that like evaluations and analytics. And I know, Richard, you got to produce those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's always it's the human stories that are all way more important for me. We are joined in the studio this first hour with, let me get my names right, Richard Whipple,
Hey.
Val Lopez, and Brian Lagunas.
Yes,
I said it right?
Yes, sir.
Damn, that degree worked for something. Okay, Lagunas. And now we have a whole bunch of cast of thousands who are joining us. Oh, Lord, look at here. Look at all these pretty faces.
It's a beautiful group right there. It's a beautiful group.
These faces. All right. Don't. I'm saving him. Okay. I'm saving him. All right. Let's see. We are joined by the second hour. I see Rainy. So I can get Rainy Conda. Is that right? Did I say that right, Rainy?
Yes, you said it right. Thank you.
Oh, good. The degree is working. Jasmine Lopez. I see Jasmine.
Hi.
I see Cassandra Merlos. Say that
Yes.
right?
Yes. Hello.
I see Herman Soto.
Hernan.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Look, that's not an M. That's an N. Hernan Soto. And I see, oh Lord, I know this brother. Ronald Saravia.
There goes Ronnie.
All right, I'm saving you back because I'm gonna get too excited. Okay, all right. And Reseda Gonzalez, right?
Briseida Gonzalez. Yes.
Reseda.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, thank you.
Gonzalez,
Hi.
thank you. Good, because you went on my list. I'm glad I saw you. Okay. All right, but it's a big party. Everybody join in. I don't know if you were able to hear any of the first hour. It was wonderful. The three folks here in the studio gave just an amazing critique of the past 10 years. Wow. And he even gave a little, Richard answered just an amazing question on the state of DACA and, a little bit of his history. And boy, you need to be a lawyer. Okay. You had all that stuff in your head, and no, you don't want to be a lawyer. Okay. You want to be like me. You want to serve the people, right? Yeah. And it's the thing. Anytime you get somebody like me and you, people they say, you know what they say? You need to run for office. Hell no.
That sounds horrible.
Because you're a good person, they want you to run. No, I want to stay a good person. Okay.
Right. No good people run for office.
I'm a servant. I don't want to be up there, having to, no, I ain't gonna do that. But I know you would get that too. And now we're joined by all of you. And I'll tell you what, let's start by introducing yourself. I have a bunch of questions here, but I'm gonna introduce yourself and just say, how long you been in the program? Why don't you just say when you got in the program? And I'm assuming there's some of them are still in, or they're all.
No, these are all alum.
Okay, all alum. Just when you got in the program, and we'll go back and get more in depth. So, Rainy, let's start with you.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, I'm Rainy. I currently go to the University of San Francisco, studying psychology.
Wait. You go to USF?
I do.
You go to
Yes.
my school. You go to my school.
I do. Yeah, I think I've met you before, and you actually talked about that. Yeah.
You're a Don. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. I go to USF. I'm a psychology major. I'm a rising senior. I'm on the pre-law track right now. And yeah, I started DREAMSF last year. I actually recently just graduated. I miss it so much. I wake up every Friday and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to go to seminar, which is like, like I get to sleep in, but I also miss it a lot. So yeah.
Thank you. Rosita? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Loud
Okay,
and clear.
perfect. Thank you. So my name is Briseida Gonzalez. I am also studying psychology, and I am a transfer from City College to San Francisco State. And I am a DREAMSF alumni from 2021. Um, what can I say? Being on that fellowship
Hang
was
on. We'll come back to that.
okay.
But maybe folks can say like where they were placed as a fellow, like what
yeah.
nonprofit they worked in.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, you can do that.
Okay. I was placed. I'm just so excited. I'm sorry. I was placed with Immigrants Rising.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Cassandra.
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, so I'm Cassandra. I'm an alumni for the DREAMSF, and it was in the year 2023. I was hosted in the LGBT Asylum Project, and I am currently working with the LGBT Asylum Project currently. So I'm thankful for that.
Thank you. Jasmine.
Hi everyone. I'm Jasmine and I'm a DREAMSF alum as well. Go back. And I was in 2021 along with Briseida here, and I was placed at Oasis Legal Services in Berkeley.
Thank you. Hernan.
What's up, y'all? My name is Hernan. I went to Diablo Valley Community College, and I transferred to UC Berkeley, and I was placed at the day labor program in Women's Collective.
Thank you. And Ronald.
Ronnie.
He got it.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up, brother?
All right. What's going on? So my name is Ronnie. I was in the 2016 cohort actually, back then, and then I was placed with Iron for Human Integrity. That's what I was placed for. Great to be here.
So each of you, let's go through this. How'd you find out? I always wonder how you find out. People say, how you find out about life? And it's funny. I'm gonna tell you the truth. This is a true story. Every time somebody comes to a Live Film Awards Club, and they say, I never heard of you. I never heard of you. I never heard of you. And I said, well, we've been around for 37 years, giving away $10 million. I mean, we've done all these good things. And I said, oh, I know why you never heard of it. It's because it's good. If it's good, you're not gonna hear about it. I do something crazy, it'll be a headlines tomorrow. Right? Dr. Marshall did this. Lady Stell did that. If it's good, you're not gonna hear it. Good news is not news.
It doesn't sell.
Really, it's not news. It doesn't make news. So, and this is a wonderful program. How did you find about Cassandra? How did you find out about DREAMSF?
So I'm actually from SoCal, but my older brother is here. He went to Berkeley with Val, and they've known each other for a long time. And he was the one that told me about it because Val mentioned it because I graduated from UC Riverside, and right after I graduated, I didn't have anything to do. I couldn't work anywhere. So my brother suggested I join the DREAMSF, and I joined it.
Thank you. Briseida. Okay, how did you find out?
I found out through a counselor at City College. I remember I asked her if she knew of ways that I could get more grants or something because I was like struggling. I couldn't, get a job because of my status. And then she shared DREAMSF with me, and she told me, I think you will be a good fit. And that's how I found it. And then I applied.
And you were a good fit.
Thank you.
Hernan, how did you find out?
I found out through the DVC Dreamers Alliance. Back when DACA got rescinded, I found myself joining this group, and in that group there was Ivan Nanez, and he was an alumni of of this fellowship, and he told me to apply because he thought I would be a good fit for it.
Thank you. Jasmine, how did you find out?
I found out through one of my really close mentors at my scholarship program. He emailed me a bunch of times to apply until I applied, and I'm here now.
And Rainey?
Yeah, so I actually went to a San Francisco Young Dems meeting and I met Ernesto there. And Ernesto is actually a DREAMSF alumni and he was also a co-coordinator with Val. And I was kind of trying to get involved in the immigrant community a little bit more. And then Ernesto told me about the fellowship and I was like, oh great, it's a paid opportunity. We don't see much of those for us. So I was like, yeah.
You didn't mention that part paid.
Yeah, it's paid. And we forgot Brian here in studio too. We got Brian.
I'm swinging my head around.
Okay.
Ronald, how did you find out?
Oh man, I found out through you guys as well, through through my situation. I had through my incarceration and through my legal proceedings as well as like trying to get a job. You guys been very supportive through my growth. So I appreciate that.
He says, you guys, I think he means me and Lady E. Yeah. We told him, why don't you check this out? We knew about it. How'd you find
Really,
out?
really though.
Really though.
Yeah, well, so I don't think it's on. Okay, you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I'm from SoCal, so I came up here for Berkeley during like COVID year, the pandemic year 2020. And then after that, everything was kind of opening back up. And from there, one of my friends who I knew was in the similar, had the similar immigration status as me, I asked him, I was a little desperate because my friends were already figuring out what internships to get over the summer and whatnot. And I was like, kind of like stressing. And I was like, hey, like, do you happen to know of any opportunities up here? So shout out to him because we went to the same high school and he's like, hey, you know what? You actually you should apply to this. And I was like, okay. I applied and then the rest is history. Here we are.
The rest is history. And how did you find out?
My year was actually 2017 was the first year that they opened it up to folks without, or like publicly to folks without DACA. So I had been knowing about it because I had a lot of like other students at Cal who had been a part of it, but they all had DACA. So 2017 they officially opened it up, and I immediately was like, oh, I know about this program. It's the first opportunity I know you can go without a work permit. Bet I'm signing up. And I was like, I have to get this, and that's all.
Now I'm gonna open up to anybody. Don't wait for me to call on you. What was the interview process like? I mean, was it long and agonizing, or were you like keep praying every night? And from what I heard, you was a select of the select. Huh? What was that like for you? Now, somebody say something, because say something. Okay.
I got you. Yeah, let me tell you, it was a long process. I was honestly like just really nervous the whole time. I think all of us were. There was like 3 rounds of interviews, I believe. There was like the application where we had to do essays, like short essays, long essays, kind of talking about our lived experience as an immigrant. And also we would go in person and there would also be an interview cycle that way, where I actually interviewed with Rich. And then after that, we would also interview with our host sites. I actually did like 6 different interviews, or maybe it was less than that. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but it was like 6 different interviews like the same week, which was a lot. But yeah, it was really worth it though, because I learned a lot about just, how to prepare for an interview. And I think I'm a lot better now, like going to interviews and a lot more confident. So it definitely did prepare me a lot.
Anybody else want to talk about that interview process? What was it like? How long did it take? How nervous you were? Nobody else wants to talk about that?
I could go. Mine was online. It was during COVID. And I remember like getting that email and I had to like email them back like my 3 different time slots. And then I like log in. I would be lying if I told you that I wasn't wearing sweats, but I was wearing sweats and professional blouse. I call my cohort the uprising from COVID.
I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, and then like I log in and I see like 100 different people on, and in my head I'm like, that's it, I'm not in. But Then I got another email saying like, "Yeah, you've been selected for round 2."
Oh.
I see like the group getting smaller, and I'm just like, you know what? What could go wrong? And then I got it. I actually got accepted on my birthday. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Look at
So,
that.
yeah.
Wow. Girl, you must have been good. You must have been good. Anybody
She
else want
sure
to talk
was.
about theirs? 5, 4, 3, 2. You want to talk about yours?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Mine was a little bit more of a hybrid experience. The group interview was in person. So I remember I literally before the interview and I got there, I bought all my little suit or whatever, like my dress shirt, my dress pants, and like literally the meme of like laying it next to me when I slept was literally me. I woke up ready to like put on my shirt, put on my shoes. Like I was like feeling so fresh that day. I was driving to SF, listening to my favorite song and everything. I got there, and then I got there late, and I was like, no way, like that's wild. And then they came out chasing for me, like, no, Brian, we have another spot. I go in, I'm sweating, and then I sit down, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. They start asking me about my special object and whatnot, and then like a little bit about me. And then from there, I receive an email, a follow-up email. Hey, like you could get interviewed, like a single interview now. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I go in, and that was like virtually because I had to go home for some family thing. And then I got my little interview there. And then from there, I got into the program, which was pretty cool. And then I realized that, there's like more interviews to now be placed somewhere. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But the biggest takeaway from that interview, when interviewing other like nonprofit organizations to see where we're going to be placed, was advocating for myself and like asking them questions like, are y'all flexible? Can y'all teach me this? Like, this is what I'm looking for. And just getting that little confidence to express my needs and my desires throughout the fellowship. And yeah, that was pretty much, now we're here. Yeah.
And this last round, Brian got to interview the next cohort. So he's been full circle.
Turn the tables around.
Oh, yeah.
Turn the table.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get just a sense of, and I hope this is okay to ask the countries that people, is that okay to ask that? No?
Yeah.
Countries, yeah.
Okay.
Like home country.
Definitely, yeah. I'm from Mexico, La Ciudad de Mexico. So Mexico City.
I'm from Lima, Peru.
Say it again.
Lima, Peru.
Oh, Lima.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, Lima. I ain't been to Lima. I ain't been a lot of places. Rainy, where you from?
Hi. Yeah, I'm from India, from South India.
You look at this. All right, Jasmine.
I'm from Guatemala.
Guatemala. All right. Hernan.
I'm from Zacatecas, Mexico.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Priscilla.
I'm Salvadoran Peruvian.
Ronald.
I'm also a Peruvian Chilean.
Thank you. Cassandra.
I am Mexican Salvadorian, but I was born in Mexico.
I love it. I just love it. I love it. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, but I ain't a dream somewhere. Okay, let's hear about what the experience was like for each of you. And this may, may have to have you start and then stop and then come back because I know the stories are rich and wonderful and great. I'm just so proud of all of you, obviously. But let me just say this. If people have conceptions about what they don't know, right? So hopefully people watching and listening, when you hear their stories and their successes, I hope it breaks some kind of nutty perceptions that you may have. All right. Because I'm out with some folks and I know you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I tell people all the time, you don't know. So I love when they hear authenticity. And I hope that helps them with their, and I'm being kind here, limited mindset.
That's generous.
Yep.
Yeah, that's being generous. All right, who wants to start? Your Dream SF story? And who's the one that has the one?
Hernan has a poem, and Jasmine has remarks, both from the tenure. If we want to do a little repeat of.
Okay. We're gonna hold you to there's summations. You could tell your story, but then your remarks, Jasmine, and Hernan, your poem, we're gonna hold to the end, okay? Because that'd be powerful to go out. But you can start with just sum up your Dream SF experience, what you learned, what it was like, the whole bit. And Cassandra, you get to start.
Yeah, so I can start off by saying that I learned not only so much about more about my community because like I mentioned, I'm from SoCal, I'm from a border town. It's really hard not to express who I am with my immigration status there. So it was really hard to find folks that I can trust in my community. So in here, it was really awesome finding others who I can trust and feel comfortable with. I learned so much about myself. I feel like I've grown so much. I learned so much from Rich and Val, how to like have like work experiences, how to like I didn't even expect I was going to be in the legal field, like doing legal work, and now I learned so much about that. But I think it's mainly like the self-growth that I really like it was a huge impact for me with this fellowship.
Was there a moment, and I'm gonna ask each one of you, a moment when everything clicked in for you? Like, I mean, a lot of times people tell me it's too good to believe. It's just it can't really be like this. You know, it's just too good. Was there a moment you went like, wow, this is real? Was there? Can you remember? I don't know, maybe not, but then.
Yeah, I feel like it did hit me because I like Val and Rich like also like helped me like, oh, you need to get a credit card. So I feel like now I have like my credit score building up. And then also like, oh, get your driver's license and like do a bunch of things that I didn't know I could do. And I feel like it hit me and like, oh, okay, like I can also like have something and not just basically be a ghost to this country. I can have something. So I feel like, yeah, it did hit me a lot of times. And I feel like I can sort of belong to some sort of community and not feel like left out. So it did hit me for sure.
What's your aspirations for the future? What do you want? As I said, what did you say when you were a kid? What do you want to be when you grow up? What? Yeah, you got any idea? Or
so I ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to help like the youth or be part of like helping the community. I have my degree in sociology. I wanted to be like either a case manager or a social worker. And right now I'm just a paralegal. Hopefully in the future I become something else. I still don't know. I'm still, getting used to being a paralegal, but hopefully in the future I decide to change it and do something else.
wow.
But currently helping people apply for asylum right now every day.
Yes.
Oh, wow. God bless you.
Holding it down.
God bless you.
And actually, Cass is about to be a supervisor for a fellow.
Yes.
So it's a full circle.
Okay, you better blow it up. See, I don't know all this stuff. Don't, blow yourself up.
Went from being the fellow to the supervisor.
Yep. Full circle.
Thank you. Thank you. Rosita?
Yeah, so like I was gonna say earlier, being on DREAMSF, like on the fellowship, was very impacting for me, like my life. I remember when I first started, and I want to apologize because I think I'm cutting off a little bit. My Wi-Fi is
No,
kind of
we got you.
unstable.
You're
Thank you.
coming through loud and clear.
Thank you. Perfect. But yeah, when I started, I remember that I was very nervous. And I didn't know. I had never heard of DreamSF before until I like read what it was about and I was introduced to it. So I remember applying for it and I was like, is this real? Like it's a fellowship for undocumented folks that don't have any type of status, nothing. And I was so excited because I was like, this is I prayed. I was like, please, I want to get in. I need this. And I remember when I got in, it was so eye-opening for me because I had never been in a community before where I was seen and had to explain, I think growing up that I was always the undocumented kid and like all my friends, they were citizens. So nobody really understood my background. And then I was able to join DreamSF and everybody around me, we had, similar stories, but different, but I never felt like I didn't fit in. I always felt supported and I always felt seen. And that was a first for me and ever, in my life. So it's so emotional for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Love
you for say that.
I love you too. And I think that, being on the fellowship throughout the whole year, um, I remember when I first got my first check, because like I was saying, it was like I was like struggling. I think you don't really think about that when you're like young, but then you come to that age and you're like, oh my God, like it's serious now. And then I got my first check and I was able to help out at my house. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm so thankful. And it was the process. And then I had no type of, um, what's the word, experience, even for the interviews for prepare for interviews, none of that. And Dreamers have helped me with that. And I remember that when I first started with my post site, I was so nervous and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I've never done this before. And throughout like the process, I was able to learn so much. I was able to help my community, which is something that, is very important to me. And I was doing that and I want to keep doing it. And I think that even after the fellowship ended, it was just a positive experience. And what hit me the most was that most fellowships and more like groups, you would think like once it ends, that's it, and you're like you don't get in contact with nobody else. I had not stopped being in contact with Rich and Ba, and that is so special to me because that support that I felt even when I wasn't a fellow anymore, I've never felt that before. And so I'm just so very thankful to be that I was able to be part of Dream SF. And yeah, I don't know, it's so wonderful. Like I'm getting emotional again. I want to do that.
What's in your future?
In my future, like I said, I am studying to be a psychologist. So with all the experience that I have, my resume thankfully looks so good now, thanks, to Dream SF, and I was able to apply to another host site after, and it was just, it has helped me so much. I want to be able to be a therapist for undocumented kids that come to the country.
Yeah.
I want to still be able to help my community. That's something very important to me. And I am minoring in theater. I want to be able to get into film for, immigrant voices, undocumented voices. I think that's very important. Storytelling is very important to me. So hopefully, if things change, that's also great. But right now, I think that's what I want to do.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
She's also going to be onboarding a new fellow,
Yep,
supervising
next
a
week,
fellow for
literally.
the next couple months.
Let's just put that as a tagline.
Yeah.
Jasmine.
Yeah, so I was placed at Wasted Legal Services, and throughout my time there, I was able to help file for asylum for LGBTQ undocumented folks. Um, and then thanks to Rich and Val and Alive and Free, I was able to extend my stay with DREAMSF for another 11 months at a different organization with Dolores Street Community Services in the Mission District in San Francisco. And again, I was also doing asylum, DACA renewals, deportation defense. And that's when I started getting my hands on organizing and like outreach. And, staying in touch with Rich and Val was definitely still my highlight to this day. And yeah, and something that I really liked about the fellowship was, it was too good to be true.
Yeah,
Because
right.
like,
I understand that.
I was like, no, there's a catch here.
Right,
I was
exactly.
like,
I know that.
I was
Yeah.
like, they say that like, because I've been there, done that. There's been other programs, not gonna mention them, but that they were like, we want migrant youth here. You're gonna get paid. And then at the end of the day, they never wanted to pay me. So I was like, oh, okay.
Lord.
But something that, really stood out to me was like the amount of community that I was able to create. I'm really good friends with a lot of people. I was able to mentor for a lot of people. And I really hope I get to do that this year and the next year. And something that really stood out to me is that, it's okay to like be who I am, but also like it's just unfortunate that we have to humanize ourselves and advocate for ourselves for the bare minimum. But something that the fellowship taught me was that, I don't want to be a lawyer at the end of the day. I kind of want to focus myself on education advocacy, because my time at Dolores Street, like I was able to work with a lot of youth. I was able to help a lot of families connect to resources within the school district, within the city as housing, jobs, resources, and even like I just graduated, so right now I'm hopefully going to be able to be like a student coordinator and help families in the Mission District, you know, especially like newcomers who came in looking for resources. I feel like that's something that I didn't think I would be able to want to do without the fellowship and all of the mentorship, the guidance that I've have had for the past 3 years or so.
Wow. Congratulations. Big congrats. Rainey?
Yeah, so my I would say my immigrant experience is a little bit more different than a lot of the other fellows. Like I came to this country on a dependent visa on my dad's work visa. Like he was actually sponsored a work visa to, you know, stay in this country and make a living for his family, right? And so through that visa, he was able to like bring me like his child as a dependent, right? But so the issue is that it takes like 20 years or more, like decades, for folks to get their green card, right? And through that process, people age out of their status and they fall out of status. So I was essentially like, you know, like I essentially like would have become undocumented at 21. So
Wow.
this was yeah, so 60% of the undocumented population, like they've lost their status, you know, so they would come into this country with some sort of status, but they would fall out of it because it's so complicated to keep up with your status, right? And so that's something that I was struggling with. And, you know, I didn't have a social security number all my life. Like I came to this country when I was 4. And I know like all of us can relate to that. Like we literally had no work permit, no social security number. So I wasn't able to work or gain any kind of professional experience. And I was really at a loss because, you know, I'm pre-law, like I'm on the pre-law track. And as you guys know, it's very competitive. Like you need to have some sort of like internship or like work experience. And not only just professional experience, I also wanted to be independent. Like I wanted to be able to make my own money and, you know, like have my own apartment, for example. So yeah, I think that like getting that email where I was accepted, I literally cried because I was like, there's no way, you know, there's no way that I finally like got the opportunity to not only like build independence, but also get that professional experience that I've been wanting like for so long, and like something that we all deserve because we're all capable of those kind of professional experiences. Um, and yeah, and once I got that email, I was like, okay, like it just instilled so much confidence and hope in me that that like I could carry on into my future. And I think it hit me for the first time that it was real when I got my check for the first time. And I was like, okay,
That'll
I
make
could
it
I could pay
real.
my rent. Like let's pay, like I could pay my rent, I could pay my own bills, like let's go. That's literally all I ever wanted, you know? So yeah, so yeah, that's a part of my experience. And also I was placed at Oasis Legal Services too, just like Jasmine. I worked in the naturalization department, so I learned how to fill out N-400s. And yeah, and I literally have family members that I could help with their, you know, citizenship applications for free. So yeah, I'm excited to like continue giving back to the community.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ronald.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Well,
So,
feel good all up in here.
man, so the way I found out about Dreamers Fellowship was through you guys. You know, I remember I was like trying to find work and have it, you know, still do to this day. You know, I'm still working on it right now. Trying to get my documentation all fixed up too. You know, it's been a process. You know, you guys known me for a long time, and I still haven't gotten it actually figured out. But you know, I got the work aspect of it. You know, figured out, trying to always work, you know, finding new gigs here and there, figuring it out. You know, it's like a nonstop hustle, you know, but I'm blessed, you know. I feel like it's a beautiful struggle to still be, you know, able to move, you know. But other than that, yeah, you guys helped me even get into this space, feel more secure, you know, make more rational decisions. You know, I was making power moves, you know, trying to work with this organization, and here got placed with Iron for Human Integrity, which was a really good fit for me because in my position I was facing incarceration. You guys helped me through that, by putting me on with the Dreamers Fellowship. I didn't even knew that existed, and I got basically put on with that. Saved me through pushed actually through my incarceration for me to actually still be on the outside, and I'm very blessed for that and to have that resource, therefore, yeah, it all started with Alive and Free, and then through them and looking for my work and through my incarceration, Dreamers Fellowship backed me up and became one of my foundations to move forward. And even till this day, they've pushed me and actually connecting with this other program in San Francisco called the Latino Task Force, and I'm working there through the director right now, the Chef Alex, and the other director, Ruth Barajas. They're really good folk. They've really been there for me and had my back through the whole process. Looking for work and just being more stable. But yeah, it all came through y'all, and I'm blessed to be able to say that. So thank you guys.
We could do a whole segment just
On Ronnie.
We really could.
You could see Lady E and her when she does this. I mean, she's feeling it. So
Yeah.
we'll hold those comments till the end, man. It's good to see you, brother. I love you, man. Hernan.
So the Dreamers. Can you repeat your question again? Because I'm like,
Your
I feel the
experience.
same
What
way.
was your experience? Your experience. Yeah. What was your experience like?
it was honestly one of the first professional development experience that I had that actually caused me to change my major. I went into college thinking I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I had these opportunities, but I didn't know that you can get a degree and work with like people that look like you. I went from like going from wanting to become an X-ray tech to like wanting to get a degree in ethnic studies. So after this experience in the DREAMSF fellowship, I actually changed my whole college trajectory, and it was the best decision I've ever made. Also, just seeing other people be their authentic selves. I was closeted queer at the time, so I didn't really see myself like actually expressing this identity, and me expressing this identity right now is taking so much that it was just beautiful to see, and it was like a glimpse of what my life could be in, like through people that look like me, right? I'm like, whoa, like these are like queer and brown folks like surviving, not just surviving. So just like seeing that representation really has set like the foundation to like what you see today. So it's beautiful. And then working with working class people, I was placed at the day labor program in Women's Collective, and it was around one of the first times that when I got off 24th Street in Mission, if you know what it smells like, you know what it smells like. But
yes, we do.
But it reminded me so much of like my hometown where I was born, like the city. I'm like, wait, why does this sound? This smells so familiar. It like I literally like left this country by going there, which is really weird. I still to this day I remember it. And then I was working with Guillermina Castellanos. She's a domestic worker organizer, and just seeing someone with that caliber of love for like the people she's serving, it was really inspirational. Until this day, I still am like, Guille, like, what do you need? Do you need a flyer? Do you need X, Y, Z? Like, what do you need? Like, I'm here for you, because as a privilege, like I recognize that at the DREAMSF fellowship, I recognize what privilege was, because as a student, just me being a student was already like, whoa, like this is kind of what we've been working with, right? Like this is what my dad wanted. This is what my parents wanted. Sorry, I cut off right now, but But yeah, it was a beautiful transforming experience, to say the least.
I know Lady E is writing stuff down. It's just let me just say, for those, I always call this service work. People don't understand that. People don't. You got it's selfless work. It's service work. But let me just say, for me, it's the best work in the world. I mean, I know people who got a whole lot more money than me and all that, but they ain't in love with what they do. And so, it's just wonderful. Just wonderful to hear everything. I want to make sure we get to the wrap ups to read, which I want to have time. Do you want to either of you want to say, what your experience was
Yeah,
been
most
like?
definitely. Yeah, I can quickly share about my experience. So I'm from Santa Ana, this city in like about an hour south of LA. So I came up here for school, and the whole like growing up, my parents were like, okay, you gotta make it to college, you gotta make it to college. So I moved up here for school, and I was already in college. So now I started getting the realization that I had to survive. I'm like, okay, I'm away from home. I need to start making money. I need to start like trying to get like this college experience in the sense of the professional aspect. And I just kept on. I felt like I had so many doors closing on me. I was looking for scholarships. I couldn't find any scholarships. I was trying to look for different professional development opportunities. They were super limited, and the ones that they were like super exclusive and at times pretty exploitative. So I was like, oh yeah, I would hear from friends who were in my similar situation, like, no, don't apply to that program. Like, I had a really bad experience. And then I came to Dream SF, and I was like, whoa, like this is wild. I little did I know I was gonna be in for like a beautiful journey. I literally walked out of there like transformed. I walked out of there with a support system. I literally walked out of there with like a family away from home. So, and all this professional development as well, like that's a huge part as well too. I remember when it first hit me, it was when I was like sitting down in my little cubicle, and I was like next to my supervisor, and I was like, oh wow, and I looked down and I had slacks on, and I had my little button up my dress shirt on, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is what normal people feel like, right? And this is when I started feeling like, wait, I am normal. Like it's okay to feel like this. It's okay to like appreciate like waking up in the morning, like even listening to your favorite song on the way to the office, and just say that you're going to an office. And I was like, wow, because also growing up, like I guess all the like quote unquote professional experience was like cutting grass with my dad on the weekends, or taking graveyard shifts at a nightclub to valet, so it was like crazy. I was like, whoa, like I didn't even realize like this was possible until I came here, got this experience, walked out of there super transformed. I was like, okay, it literally solidified my academic trajectory, but most importantly, it like made me feel seen, it made me feel heard, it made me feel appreciated. For example, like I just graduated, and Val, Rich, and my supervisor went to my graduation. So it was like, wow, like it's like to the extent that like this support system has gotten me. I always have people rooting for me. I have people here just like wishing the best for me when I'm going through it. They're there for me. And even when in times where I ask for feedback as well, like I'm a huge person for feedback, and they're always super honest, and it helps my professional development so much. After all these little a lot like accumulation of a lot of little important experiences, like the interviews, the different seminars, the financial literacy aspect, getting learning how to like take constructive criticism, asking for help, learning that no question is a bad question.
That's right.
So it's
That's
just coming
absolutely
here
right.
and being at this point, I'm like, whoa, this is wild. Like if I was to look back, I would have never imagined where I would be today. But most importantly, the person and how like my values that I have today. So I think it's been such a beautiful journey that I wouldn't change for anything.
Mm. 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 I still clap. I don't do
Yes.
I don't do snap. I'm old school. I do the actual clap. You wanted to, or we want to jump into because I don't want to miss anything. So
Yes. Well, I'll just very quickly say I think that like my experience as a fellow was one thing, and it was beautiful, and I'm close friends with a lot of my cohort. But I think that getting the honor of being the coordinator for like most of these folks here, and like just like I think I have about like 60 folks that I've gotten the chance to mentor as a coordinator, and it's been like the honor has been all mine. I think that just getting to see them grow, like I've seen graduations, weddings, like baby showers, like everything in between, and that truly has been an honor for me to just getting the chance to do that. And I think that myself, when I came into Dream SF, I had never seen an undocumented person be able to lead. and be like paid to lead and be able to like also pay other folks for their work. So it was very important for me to like be able to provide that for other folks as well.
I'll pass on the model that we have with the core value of alive and free, Omega Boys Club. The more you know, the more you owe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that beautiful? My
Yes.
grandmother told me that when I was 6 years old. I had no idea what the hell she was talking about, but she said, Junior, as you grow, you'll understand. And it for me, it came to be as you grow in progress in life, so you must help others to do likewise. I realized very on that somebody long time ago, you know, saw me in their future. And I'm where I am is the accumulated love and effort of those that came before. And so that's all you're doing. You know, some people call it pay it forward. Some people call it too much has been given, you know, much, but the more you know, the more you owe. So I know that feeling, girl. Ain't nothing better than that feeling. You can't explain that feeling when you do that for somebody.
Yeah.
It comes from the heart. You who should you know? Should the speech go first or should the poem goes first? What
do
you think?
Speech and then poem. I
Speech
think
and poem.
poem should go
Okay,
first.
now so who had the speech?
Jasmine.
Jasmine had a speech.
All right, Jasmine. You get to do
Our
the
all-star
speech,
fellow.
and then we'll do Hernan's poem. Okay, Jasmine, you ready for your speech?
I have a question.
Yes.
The speech was intended for the 10-year anniversary. Do I still mention that part?
Oh yeah. What's wrong?
Yeah, whatever you
Yeah,
like. I mean, Dr. Marshall wasn't there, so it's
Yeah, you know, I'm sorry. That's why I'm here now. That's why I did this because I'm trying to create as much as I was not
You
allowed.
saw the award though. David filled him in.
Okay, I got the award, and the award is displayed prominently in my office. Okay.
It better be.
She's about to come check.
I'll go to your office right now. I'm just playing. Okay.
Go right ahead.
All right. Hello everyone, and welcome to the DREAMSF 10-year anniversary. My name is Jasmine, and my pronouns are she, her, and I am very proud to say that I was part of the DREAMSF cohort of 2021 and 2022, and I was placed at Oasis Legal Services. Anyways, enough about me and more about DREAMSF. DREAMSF started as a fellowship program only for DACA recipients 10 years ago, and a few years later, they expanded their program towards all of undocumented youth in the Bay Area. I think it's funny being in this building after swearing to myself that I would never step back in here because they refused to pay me for obvious reasons. Yet here I am for my love for DREAMSF. I usually go up here and hold people in power accountable and call them in based on their actions. But honestly, this party is about us and not them. Many of us in the first few years of being in the US found ourselves lost and questioning what we should do in a place that feels odd to us. Majority of us grew up hiding for many years, and some of us maybe are still hiding, and that is okay. That does not make you less of a person you are and still being loved and cared for. Before joining DREAMSF, I'd be a liar if I told you that I was one of the first ones to apply for the fellowship. I was not. I submitted my application minutes before the extended deadline. Then I got selected for an interview and saw the amount of people, and oh God. However, here I am, and here we are, part of the DREAMSF alums. This fellowship gave us the space to be ourselves and let all of our anger and rage out because of how bad the system treats us. This fellowship has opened up so many doors to each and every one of us, from friendships, relationships, to jobs, graduate programs, and even helping ourselves and our family members adjust status. And for that, we are forever grateful. I love seeing previous fellows become attorneys, graduate from college program, and even landing a good job. DREAMSF has been a space for many of us would call sacred, allowing us to cry, laugh, and explore many different destinations for us. But for me personally, I call DREAMSF my home, a place where I can easily come, and I know the amazing, wonderful OCS staff would welcome me with open arms and have me color at their desks, charge my phone, or cry in their arms. I'm pretty sure I am not the only one who can describe this place as just a fellowship, but something more that is connected to the heart. In the end, we can't celebrate the growth of DREAMSF without acknowledging the hard work that these two specific people do behind it. Val and Rich. Personally, I have been honored to be loved and cared for by them these past 3 years. I also know for a fact that it's not just me who you have helped shape, lead, nurture, and overall fill us with endless love. Some of the fellows and I would describe you as influential, very caring, resilient, sassy, goofy, dashing, selfless, irreplaceable, fun, supporting, extraordinary, pure-hearted, kind, fighters, reliable, genuine, fierce, loving, endearing, the dynamic duo, aspiring, Munai Quechua, a word that means love, and leaders, but most importantly, these two people would go out of their way to help you. These are all the words that the fellows and I would describe you both as, and I couldn't agree even more. In the words of my own mom, also as Rich would call her, Miss Evelyn, Valley Rich son muy cariñosos, son muy suaves con uno y también amorosos. Quiero que muchos sepan lo valioso que es tener una amistad con ellos. Although these words that describe you require so much energy, me personally, I call you soft-hearted, but at the same time filled with rage and human. And if anyone thinks otherwise, then they're wrong. You have taught us not to be afraid of who we are, and you have shown and demonstrated to us what it is to be human. And I think that's beautiful. Thank you for all you do for each and every one of us and continue to do so. I want both of you to know that we got you the same way you have us, and may you also take care of yourselves the same way you take care of all of us. Taking this to an end, I want to celebrate ourselves and each other for how much we have grown during and after DREAMSF. Despite the obstacles, the hardships, we are here and present. May we continue to learn to hold space for ourselves and allow ourselves to be filled with rage. May we continue to love who we are, and may DREAMSF keep growing. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Magnificent. Wow. Oh, my Lord. Ooh. Okay, Hernan. Woo. Bring us home.
So growing up in the Bay Area, I on Sundays and just growing up in a mixed status household, on Saturdays actually I would go work with my dad. So I would go garden in the suburbs of Alamo, Danville, San Ramon, and it was kind of like a bonding experience between me and my dad. And just because when we were in Mexico, my dad came to the U.S. and then brought us here, so it was like a reconnection. And I recently lost my dad actually to I would want to say alcoholism, but I'll say more on during the poems. But I would like to ground you first, right? Just if you can all just take a deep breath with me, because I will talk about this. So after the poem, just please do something nice for yourself. So at the count of 3, just please take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Let me just get some water. So it's 12 poems, but it's one story. And I wrote the poems in separate timelines, and I kind of just put them together recently. So please bear with me. The first poem is Oiga. It's what I called you. It roughly translates to Mister, and its transliteration is to listen. You were fresh off the border, and usually everyone is excited and gathers around the soul missing in action. They had detained you at the border earlier that day, week, or month. I can't remember. After all, the mind of a child sometimes can't differentiate. When my mom told me the news, I wasn't sad. After all, I didn't know what a dad was. And fatherhood for you meant to provide from abroad. How can hugs and kisses travel through the phone line? And after all, what was a dad? People gather around you in full delight, and I played with my cousins, wondering who in the world that man was. We spoke in different languages, and when I tried to call you dad, all that came out was Oiga, ¿cómo está? Are you my dad? Tools checklist of a late gardener. La máquina de zacate, a lawnmower. La bloa, a leaf blower. El güiro, a weeder, el bote, a leaf container, el raqueador, a leaf raker, el tanque de gasolina, a gasoline tank, aceite para mixtear, oil to mix with gas, un hedge trimmer, a hedge trimmer, las tijeras rojas para podar, pruning shears, tijeras de podar, hedge shears, un hijo rezongón que habla inglés, a son who talks back but speaks English, un seis, a six-pack of Bud Light. The first lever turns on the blade, the second puts the transmission gear in motion. Hold it tight because it will pull away, so make sure you walk at its pace. First go around the edge and then go back and forth to cut the rest. Don't let go of the lever because it will hit your face. Teaching me to work at a young age, too young to understand English and old enough to push a lawnmower. This is why we came to this country, a trabajar. But cutting grass isn't rocket science, and the American lawn is a waste of land and a waste of our talents. Kick the bag as you walk. That's how you know it's full. Don't leave patches of grass because you will have to come back. Make sure the lines are straight and don't hit any sprinklers because we don't have the money to fix them. When you finish, go to the next lawn. You see, the private sector is a loophole in the exploitation machine called America. How can you regulate a place that people call home? How do you know if you have rights? Your union rep is your hard work ethic and your low price, keeping you in business without changing prices as inflation soars. Afraid that the client might find someone even more disposable than you, you stay quiet. Translating for someone whose tongue has been cut, unable to speak up for their own rights. After all, it wasn't my dad who cut his own tongue. Ayúdame a bajar la máquina de zacate. Tú cortas el zacate y yo doy bloa. Y cuando acabes, vas y les cobras. Te quiero agachadito, Hernán. Ponte las pilas porque la cosa no está fácil. Y a tu mamá y hermanas también les da hambre. Chécale el gas y le das un estirón hasta que prenda. Y asegúrate que tenga cuerda. Baja el bote y recoges lo más pesado. Vas y se lo echas al bote verde hasta que se llene. Mi hijo, no quiero que te chingues la espalda. Pesa un chingo la bloa y más si es hoja mojada. Hernán, hidrátate. No quiero que te desmayes, no vale la pena. Yo me echo un agua y tú una cerveza. Hernán, dile que son 300 por el jale y que se lo estoy dando barato. We're in the truck strategizing to how to seal the deal with this client that needs some bark sprayed out through his backyard. We see the client approaching us. We put down our lunch and my dad hides his beer can. Hey, Hernan, you think you and your dad can spread the bark out in front of in the backyard? We're having a small party and we want it to look nice. Dice que si le puedes regar el bark enfrente y atrás porque van a tener un party. Dile que sí, que si nos da 300 por el jale. My dad said that he has time and that it's 300 for the job. 300? That seems like a lot. Is there any way y'all can give me a better price? Dice que es mucho, que si le puedes dar un mejor precio. Dile que se lo estoy dando barato y que se lo puedo hacer hoy. No lo dejes que se te arrime. He said that it's a good price and we can do it today. I still think it's too high and you guys don't even pay taxes in this country. Dice que es mucho y que no pagamos. I stop and I hesitate to translate taxes to impuestos. And all that comes out is taxas. Not the client becomes the IRS and my dad a victim of this machine that needs our bodies to run. Disposable. Desechable. Ve, pregúntale por el cheque de junio porque ya se debe la renta. Hey, my dad asked if you have June's check because we have to pay the rent. Can you tell your dad that we no longer need him? Does he expire or something? Pa, dice que ya no necesita tus servicios. My dad smiles at the client and thanks them. We pack all our stuff and get inside the truck. My dad's smile is gone. He left it at the client's house. Dile que en la jardinería tengo mucha cabeza. Dile que yo sé instalar zacate junto con la irrigación. Dile que yo sí soy cabrón. I want to yell at the client and tell them that my dad is not disposable, that he needs to work under the sun, that he needs to work under the rain, that he needs to expose himself to harmful chemicals, that he is a human being with a family, that he didn't want to be resilient but was left without a choice. Make alcohol your drug of choice. Work hard, even at the expense of your own life. Mira, de mocoso era el más no deseado, la oveja negra, y no quieren que me enoje. En la escuela me peleaba porque no nos dejaban en paz, a defendernos, porque aquí no van a parar y no quieren que me enoje. Me caso, trato de tener una familia y a mi primera niña se la lleva Dios y no quieren que me enoje. Me vengo a los Estados Unidos, el patrón me grita y me deja y aún así no me dejo y no quieren que me enoje. Me regreso a México, pierdo a mi mamá y no tengo más opción de que regresarme para acá. Me matan a mi hermano, mi mejor amigo, y no quieren que me enoje. Y de una vez pierdo a mi papá. Me los traigo para acá, llego cansado, tomado, y si me dicen algo, voy a andar bien enojado. Te prometo que tampoco quiero que te enojes. Controla tus emociones. Te entiendo, papá. Pero con nosotros no es el pedo es con el mundo. Yo ya estoy cansado de aguantar gritos y sabe qué más. Hernán, no quiero ir al hospital. ¿Quién va a hacer la ruta? Yo no tengo días acumulados de descanso, enfermedad o floating holidays. Si te preguntan, les dices a los clientes que no fui porque estoy enfermo. Acabo ya sabes hacer la ruta tú solo, mijo. No te preocupes, pa. Yo hago la ruta. Acabo, tuve un buen maestro. Descansa, pa. Al rato nos vemos. Where's your dad? How's he doing? Well, Miss Jones, he actually passed away this morning at 4 a.m. and I'm here to fill his place. I'm sorry to hear that, but do you think you can prune the bushes out in the window and clean some of the leaves in the backyard? I'm sorry to hear about your dad, but we left a check under the mat. Hey, Hernan, where's your dad? He's in the morgue getting ready for his funeral. I'm sorry to hear that, but I have this water leak out in front of the yard. You think you can take a look at it? Or should I hire someone else since your dad won't come back? Hey, how are you? Is that your mother out in the backyard? Yeah, that's her. She's helping me out. Well, what happened to your dad? He's still in the hospital fighting for his life. Sounds good. Well, here's the check for the rest of the month. But it's only the first week. We know. Please take it and don't come back. My aunt is coming to see my dad. But he died 19 or was it 18 years ago. She's visiting a stranger that she one day called hermano. Isn't it beautiful to die twice? Does suffering end the first time or does it end the second time? You exchange stomach aches for aching backs, clean clothes for schools, for landscaping uniforms, accumulating wealth at the expense of your own health, cluttering your body with alcohol to ease the pains. How great would capitalism be if we got greedy with health? Maybe my dad would still be alive. I can say it was alcoholism, but it was capitalism that killed my dad. Exploitable, disposable, decompostable. Keep my dad from speaking his truth. You're a man. Your job is to provide even at the expense of your own life for brown dads here and in the afterlife. For those who don't rest till then, deja la cerveza, deja el vicio, descansa que la carga está pesada. Trabajadores, hard workers, Mr. Barry, he's been doing this job for 20 years. I'm telling you, he's an expert at what he does. He's been tending the land since the ripe age of 5. For brown dads that hug you and tell you te quiero, mijo, and for the ones that don't. For the ones who cross borders, who cross rivers, who pull miracles, all to see us in a world less fucked up than their own. Your bodies carry more than a family. They carry a soul. I know it hurts. I know you don't have time. 6-day work week, 7 sometimes. For brown dads who were taught to suffer in this and smile at the face of uncertainty. For the brown dads whose bodies are no longer with us. For brown dads here and in the afterlife. Thank you.
Whoa. Ah, okay. Obviously, that was magnificent. That's all I have to say. That came from, I want to say from the heart, but that came from a place that only you know. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank all of you. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for recreating the celebration. Thanks for letting so many other people be part of this. Lady E, I'm glad it's you on you because I'm out. I'm way overwhelmed.
Hernan, that was absolutely remarkable. And that word is insufficient. You shared a journey that so many of us have no idea. We don't know the story. But you put it so eloquently, painful, and there are just no words. There are just no words. But there are the prayers, the belief, and the hope that now the angel on the other side is looking out for you and after you and for you. The gift that you've been given, the right time, the right place, and the right way, is just amazing that there is that something, someone that knows and will give you, all of you, what you need. The right time, the right way, the right place. And then how wonderful that you trust it and you're there for it. And you've got people there for you. That angel on the other side, your dad. My words for you from how fitting is the name DREAMSF. Because depending on one's circumstance, dreams are neither allowable nor are they accessible, to say nothing of people. And you gave that to them. The ability and possibility to dream. And then you took it further and helped to make manifest dreams that were not believed to even take place. Confidence and hope. Two things that every human being should have, but they're not always given. The ability to be confident in who they are and who they can be, and hope that it can happen. They are two of the many gifts that DREAMSF has given, as well as received, giving young people the ability to believe and achieve. So Street Soldiers wants you, our listeners, to clearly see the dreams from DREAMSF do come true. And we ask that you please stay alive and free. This is Lady Estelle. And DREAMSF, we are celebrating you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. This is great. Send it out to the world, Ann. Let the world know 10 years of just wonder. Let's go for 10 more. Right?
That's right. 10 years we would not have without you, Dr. Marshall,
Yes,
and the
thank
Alive and Free
you.
team, Mrs. Stell. So thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
not all
Couldn't do it
related,
without you all.
but we're definitely all family. We got your back forever. All right? Stay in touch.